It's all the Blues at three-quarter time, 103-45. Favola's got 6 goals, including a 9-pointer. A couple of weeks ago in the intra-club match, Dean Laidley kindly mic'd up. We were able to get a lot of his innermost thoughts, and he chatted about handball and the kicks during that occasion.
Tried to run at him and just loop it over the top or give it to someone stationary. Tell him it was beautifully done, but he didn't have to handball that. He could have just kicked it in there. Just that break off the line. He had someone hot on his tail there. Okay, then he was able to break off and still deliver. So I'm going to have a look at the kicks to handball ratio. I reckon we've wasted.
Tonight, if Dean was looking at the ratio, the stats, kicks to handball, what would he see?
Yeah, we really shouldn't be surprised in how form sort of rolls on. That was only a week ago. They've had 102 kicks north to 119 handballs, and if it was an issue in their intra-club, it's an issue tonight because they've handballed it more than they've kicked. They've been ineffective in getting it through Carlton's defence. They like to kick it long from 50 to 80 and get it long to their 12 forward line. Just haven't been able to get it there effectively enough.
Down to you, Tim.
Yeah, Sydney collision in that third quarter saw Daniel Pratt collide with Daniel Pratt. He disappeared straight up the rooms. He stayed there. The club doctor hasn't been out here three-quarter time. He's still in the rooms with Daniel Pratt. No word on his fitness at this stage. Also, just a word on the Carlton midfield. We know how talented, how deep that talent goes. It also builds an inner confidence in the players. Just watching them at ground level, what they've been able to do is get great spread at the stoppages. They move really quickly. They're confident in getting into those attacking positions. And if we need an indication or example of how quickly this game moves on, we got it at quarter time with Rob Harvey. A year ago, he was starring for St Kilda. Tonight, at quarter time, there he is holding up the board for the players.
Well, that's his job. Start of the final term. That's Chris Judd. Busy again in the third term. Started well. Virtually unsighted in the second term, but got busy again in the third. Harris taken to the ground. And I suppose the thing that jumps off the page, excuse me, Lee, just looking at the goals kicked by 2 players, Nathan Thompson and Shannon Grant last year, both of them got 29. Already you're starting to think, where will those 58 goals come from? Bentley fell to ground. Thank you. Kick inside the forward 50. I'm thinking that way. It's taken by Betts, who snaps. It's on line, but it will fall short. Good work by Judd. Used the body. Ferrito comes in, though, and takes it across the line.
That point on game style, I mean, the Kangaroos have had a lot of handballs, but they've had no flow. So the hand passes aren't getting to motion, but that might be part of their midfield. I don't think is, apart from Wells and Harvey, they're the 2 real runners, flowers, and the rest of the guys in there can be just a little bit slow in terms of long, hard power running.
Urquhart got it to Wells after Harding gave it to him. Wells has been terrific. Draws the player back to Urquhart, who's impressed everybody in his first season last year. Sweeps the handball, gave Campbell a bit of a problem, but he did well, and then kicked to Jones. But there's one of your answers, maybe, Dennis, if Jones can find some form, because he is a big goal kicker, isn't he?
They've got it to here okay. There's still 6 North Melbourne players that were behind the play that didn't get up involved in that rebound. But Carlton have been coming up. The players behind the ball have been coming up and getting involved in the rebounds.
Campbell's little give. Hansen has been quiet. Haven't seen a lot of him. Houlihan's been good. Stevens terrific. Speaking of terrific, Gibbs on the burst from half back. Kicks to half forward. Cloak did well. Did very well in the tackle. Betts has been lively. Back to Judd. The champ hooks it back cleverly to Gibbs. Well done though by Power. Gibbs gets a second crack. Back to Judd.
Across the ground he comes. Laid off by Jacobs to Stevens. Stevens inside the forward 50. That was a beautiful kick. I doubt anyone uses the ball better than Stevens in this competition.
I'm pretty happy to see a team kick the ball well and play well, because everyone in the competition seems to be going this handball happy. If we don't have 200 handballs, we can't win games of footy. And I reckon the more you handball, you've got to be skilled. You've got to have the Geelong type skill around the middle of the ground. Otherwise, you're going to turn the ball over a lot. So it's good to see the precision kicking of Carlton is winning games of footy.
28 kicks more than hand passes tonight as Simpson puts it through.
I think to kick the ball a lot, you have to have good targets in front of you. And the defence that, say, a Hawthorn or that even a Geelong have have put in place, and you get the ball and you look up and you think, geez, there's no kick target, so you may be forced to handball or try to run it through them at times. But Carlton tonight have just been able to find players forward of the ball in space, and they've kicked it to them. It's been effective.
Lee, you've talked a lot about Favola and how much they go to him.
Depend on him usually.
They've had 11 goal kickers tonight. I mean, Fev's had a big night, but they've had 10 other guys kick goals.
That's been a very good sign.
They really have looked good. I know it's February and it's pre-season. It's the NAB Cup, and they've won a couple of NAB Cup premierships, which didn't turn to much during the season, but they've looked great tonight. Wells' kick inside. Thomas running onto it hard, kicked a first quarter goal. Jamison, very good. He held his composure there under pressure. Stevens has done some good work. Armfield, like the way Houlihan's played, and you've got to like this guy, don't you? Mitch Robinson, 19 years of age, taken 40 in the draft.
And there's every chance he's playing with a broken nose too.
Don't reckon it'd worry him, Dennis, do you?
No.
Worry me.
Did worry me as the ball goes beyond the wing, waiting in front again. It's all Carlton. Robinson, it finishes up in the hands of Greg, who kicks a long ball inside the forward 50, drifting back for Rito. I think the real worry for me, Bruce, is they straighten mine. Coming up is Thompson. Garlett. Harding fitted back. Thompson runs on, goes wider still. Now Urquhart around the outer side. Was that a push in the back? It seemed to be. Jones will get the free. Johnson can't believe it. He says the side. Jones has got it. Corey Jones. And this is where they've really struck problems. Well, he doesn't go forward. Petrie's got it. He goes forward now. And generally, this has been their undoing. They need a mark. Loose ball comes wide of the pack. It will run out of bounds. Good result for Carlton.
But it's the downside of having two very tall players down there. I mean, they're really, you've got to kick the ball above their head. It might be only tonight. They don't necessarily have two 200-centimetre players in there. Normally, Goldstein and Hale, of course, are there at the moment. But certainly their tendency to just blast the ball into the forward 50 isn't working for them.
So Hale doing some wrap work. Thomas got it from Harvey. Good tackle by Simpson. Little give there by Harris.
Thomas,
gee, here's Robinson again.
Whoops.
Thomas picks himself up. So Robinson to the wing. Houlihan and Stevens. Urquhart did well against the odds.
North Melbourne have always been a long kicking side into their 50 though, and it's been very predictable, but they've just been good at it. They just haven't been able to get those a couple of contested marks or the front and centre crumbs that they normally do.
So Thompson to Urquhart.
Urquhart, a good running player off halfback. We like him. Towards Power, right on the 50, and Power slams it on the boot. It's floating towards the boundary line. It goes out on the full. Sam Power, not his best effort. Normally uses the ball well. Made his debut for the Western Bulldogs against North Melbourne. Round 17, 2002, and his first opponent was Stuart Cochrane. In the back pocket. Jamison's got the footy.
How quickly you forget players, don't you?
Well, now and again, although I remember Stuart.
So do I.
Went to Port. Worked hard. Now,
Central Districts as well.
sometimes I bring them back to, I remember one day at Cardinia Park, I resurrected Austin McCrabb. He'd been retired for 5 years. I just gave him a run. He would have been at home. He dropped the remote, I'm sure. Funny what your mind does, Bruce.
Particularly yours.
Well, that's a bit unfair. The vagaries of old age. Here's Petrie. Just gets a hand pass away to Lower. Lower sends it down towards full forward. In front, a strong mark is taken there by Bauer. And you've got Goldstein and Hale in that pack. You would think North Melbourne have every right to believe the ball would come to ground.
You've got to get your hands to it first, Dennis, and they can't quite get to the fall of the ball.
So Gibbs, Bentley's been okay. He's had a fair bit of it. Kicked a goal. Talked a lot about Robinson. He's had a wonderful night. Johnson kicked a goal in that second term. Here's Thornton off half-back. Straightens up to Gibbs, who's been everywhere. 23rd disposal coming up. Jamison. So Scotland and Walker and Warnock, just three that, and Carazzo that can come back into this Blues lineup. Fisher probably, and then maybe whether O'Halpin can get there and one or two others, but there's still a few to come back.
There's some upside, and but the young players in this Carlton side are showing a bit also, which is always encouraging.
Favola doing some ruck work. Cloak got a little tap. Thompson swings a wild handball. Gee, Robinson was again really good there on Urquhart. Petrie laid it off. Power tried to get it to Gibson, and again Robinson outstanding in there.
There's a go. He loves his footy.
Well, in the forward 50, sometimes just drawing a ball up is actually just as good as well, not as good as getting it yourself, because opposition have normally got extra blokes there. If you can actually ham it in, it's an enormously valuable bit of play.
And he almost plucked it clean, didn't he? He had it for a split second, then it came out. Now North have been penalised, and the kick will go to Cloak. Disappointing night for North Melbourne. No doubt keen to do well in the pre-season competition, drive that membership up. The team in a state of flux, really. You're not sure which way they'll go. I would expect Carlton will be improved. Here's Cloak. As Bruce said, they've won a couple of pennants in recent years in the pre-season. It's turned to nothing. Cloak, sharp angle, gets the goal.
I think the one thing from the Kangaroos' point of view, I mean, just over the last couple of seasons, every now and again they put in shocker. I mean, they've been consistently good, finalists year after year, but then they'll have one game where they'll get beaten really easily. So they would be hoping that this is one of those rare occasions tonight.
Lee, they did that last year at the start with Essendon, at the end when Port beat them by 76, and then in that final. So you're dead right.
Just an update on Daniel Pratt. He's about to board an ambulance downstairs here. They think that he may have cracked ribs or broken ribs, or he may have some kidney damage. So the outlook is not particularly good for him.
So a dirty night just got a little bit murkier for the Kangaroos.
I don't think the umpire was happy with that bounce.
It was Hayden Kennedy. I can't
bring
believe
it back again.
I think Cameron heard exactly what he said.
Mark Murphy, one of his former students, Mr. Kennedy.
You could stay in after class. Anyway, it wasn't a good bounce, was it? But able to throw it up.
That incident with Daniel Pratt, I mean, that's the one part of the game that's normally a little safer standing under the footy, because you can't attack the bloke from behind. But as Favola did, if you jump at the ball from behind and sort of knee first, you're entitled to do that. You know, your back's a very vulnerable area to get that pointed, hard knee contact.
And that's why going back with the flight has always been such a courageous act.
And the rules have been sort of made to try and make it less dangerous, but it's still incidentally very dangerous.
Simpson backwards at Johnson on that trusty left.
They've done this well. They've kept their width out of defence and always had a player there for a wide switch, which helps them sort of find some space here for the run and carry.
Gee, they're teasing North here. I mean, Waite running hard to Stevens, to Jamison, so those defenders going forward just had a bit too much on the kick. Big year, you'd think, for this fella. Number 6, Lockie Hansen, taken very high in the draft, into his 3rd season at the club, and the mark taken by Matt Campbell.
The bit I've seen of Hansen, he seems to be almost, while he's 197 centimetres and marked the ball in his chest, he doesn't really look that good at his overhead skills. He doesn't look like taking a mark in a pack or even, even full reach. He tends to get the ball sort of floating around as like a mid-sized player would do.
Harding gets a hand pass to Gibson, runs inside the 50 for 6 points, puts it through.
If I was Carlton during the week, I'd isolate this little bit of play. This is something they've done very well. But Nick Stevens on this occasion had a player running at him, and he was sitting off, and eventually he came at Harding here when there was actually a Carlton player pressuring him from behind. He gave Harding 2 options: use Josh Gibson, and they were able to run through 50 uncontested. But Stevens there committed to Harding when he didn't need to.
It's an unlikely goal kicker They haven't had many tonight, just 5. Wells with a couple. Hale early did very well. He had 3 before half-time. So what can they resurrect from tonight, the Kangas, in the last 10 minutes or so? Can they string some goals together? That's something they haven't done all night. That picked off by that man again in Robinson, and then Judd should have got a free, perhaps. Thomas, and then Garlett, good to smother by Cloak, and over the top by Swallow. Well done, Murphy. Cloak, Houlihan, and then Houlihan with that nice leg of his. Oh, good grab. Terrific grab taken by Garlett, and then Garlett coming in and can't quite finish it off, but he looks like he might be something, doesn't he?
Well, he could be something, because he's not much at the moment. He's very skinny, but he's shown some very encouraging signs.
Anthony around the outer side. That's a telling kick. You get the feeling this guy early in the season may finish up on the forward line. Petrie kicks it towards the kickoff line, missed by Thornton. Zeebel's got the crumb, snaps. He snapped it a long way, but it's good. Well done, Jack Zeebel.
Yes, the quick transfer from the kick in. Just Carlton have been playing an 18-man zone all night, which means there's no one playing on a direct opponent, just covering space, and the Kangaroos were able to link together.
I'll be disappointed there, Thornton. Zeebel's had a good night.
I had to laugh early in the call when Buck said that this boy reminded him of James Hird, because I spoke to a North Melbourne person yesterday, one of their coaching staff, and I said, who does this kid remind you of? And he said, it's Nathan Buckley. He's got the same intensity about him.
So he didn't remind me of him. He just looks like him.
Would you rather look like James Hird or Nathan Buckley? You can work that out.
I'd be Hird.
Well, and the other thing, Dennis said he's not old enough to drive. Well, he turns 18 next Saturday, the kid, so he is a very, very young conveyance. He's had a good night, though, Zeebel, hasn't he?
Yep.
He and Robinson have been probably the two standout as the new
They've been
ones.
good. Yaron disappeared early with that ankle injury, but certainly Robinson and Zeebel have been 2 draftees that have done really well for the first time in these Guernseys.
In a limited way, I think Liam Anthony's been very encouraging as well. He's 1 kick and 8 handballs, but his work rate's been very good for the limited time he's had on the field.
Chris Judd will get a free kick. So he's gone forward when he hasn't been on the ball, and he's spent a long time in the forward line in this term. Certainly a summer of change too. New hair, new car, new booty as he goes across the ground inside the forward 50. Going after it is Greg, Harding, Gibson, close quarters to Power. They'll work it out. Harvey to Harding. And this is why they're racking up those hand passing stats. Lower gave it across to Thomas. Thomas around the boundary line. That's ill-directed. Anderson at his leisure goes back and tidies up, and they can switch it again. Gibbs is on across on the outer side. Timing his run nicely as Joseph. He looms alongside, used as a decoy. Short one comes inside the 50. Russell. They're running North ragged at the moment. Russell, beautiful kick, penetrating. The bowler almost goes after it. Thought about the soccer.
Through the legs.
That's amazing. Eventually, though, weight of numbers tells the story. Urquhart goes to the outer side. This is Anthony.
So let's go down with Tim with Chris Judd.
Well, Juddy, you'd be impressed with the way the boys have kept the pressure up in the second half?
Yeah, definitely. We had a bit of a focus not to drop off and get comfortable, I think. Boys, particularly with the tackling, and pressure's been really positive.
And you spent a lot of time in the forward line tonight. Is that something we're going to see more of this year?
Yeah, it might be. I mean, it's a good chance this time of year just to try a few different things. So, yeah, enjoying it down there. It's good when the ball's down there a lot.
Cheers.
So from one captain to another, eh? Harvey kicks the goal. So Harvey with a belated goal. So here was the build-up.
So as the game's got in this last quarter, most of the time there's smaller forwards are pushing upfield. The defenders are staying back a little bit. So this one fell for Harvey, as we can see there. But the extra numbers are now pretty much defensively in the back 50s.
And the tall timber of North is gone. I mean, Goldstein's not there, Hale's not there, but it's been Zeeble who kicked the last goal, or kicked the second last goal, and on that occasion created the contest that gave Harvey that crumb over the back for a goal. So just another encouraging sign from a young first-round drafty.
If you're tall and slow, you've got to be very good.
Yeah.
Average is never going to be enough.
Nope. Murphy gave it to Simpson. Shows a lot of it to Thompson, who came through on the burst, took the mark. Power. Rawlings inside the forward 50. Big hang attempted down there. Nothing doing for Campbell. Well done. Zeeble came out of the pack, kicks another one. Well, out of the gloom comes Jack Zeeble.
Sometimes you look at a contest and just one player of the half a dozen players in the vicinity looks like he wants the footy, and the other guys are just spectating marginally. And this was just the second turnover in the middle of the ground that sort of created the flow. But once the ball got into the forward 50, it was really just a 50-50 ball in there. And Zeeble just said, I want it, dive on it, pop up. Good goal.
Just the value of youth in a situation like this. I mean, the game's over, but a young player playing his first game of senior footy at AFL level, I mean, it just doesn't matter. He's playing for the love of it, and he looks like he's really enjoying himself and having an impact.
He's 17 for another 8 days. He has made a big impression. So the Kangaroos with some late goals here, but it's been Carlton's night. But it's a great line by Dennis. Out of the gloom comes Jack Zeeble, because he's been the best thing for North Melbourne here tonight. Just wondering, Dennis, he's the highest Z draft pick. Who's the best player ever starting with a Z in league footy, do you reckon?
Jack Zeeble.
Zanotti was all right.
Yeah, Zanotti was good. Ty Zantuck was another one.
Zanotti.
Still going with Zanotti.
So Jeffrey Garland, who's already kicked a goal, and a little bit of weight work next year, and the gym will make him an even stronger player, but he's looked likely as well in a little cameo tonight. As I said, his mum and Buddy Franklin's mum are sisters. That he's certainly not the imposing figure that Buddy is in terms of
different
his
shape,
physique,
yeah, different size completely.
but he's making a mark.
50 metres and going straight in a bit.
There's the Judster.
Talking about change for the Judster. New music too. He's gone from the Hilltop Hoods to Josh Pike on the iPod. Now, people who know their music know that is a massive change. I don't know what it's like. It's like being a Demons supporter. Actually, the reverse, going from Hawthorn to the Demons.
Can I ask, are you stalking him or something?
Well, I spoke with him yesterday. I hate to waste it, Bruce. It was a captive audience. We were going nowhere. Yeah. I'm surprised he's playing so well after I had 2 hours with him. In the back pocket, Simpson across the ground. Play on's the call. Closing down was Thomas, but not in time.
He probably got a good night's sleep after talking to you for 2 hours.
We've seen the
I tell you what, he got a good night. Well, he got a good afternoon sleep while he was with me, I think.
We've seen the kicking backwards, or not being allowed to get a mark for kicking backwards, now for a year or two in the NAB Cup. I'm not sure whether it does anything for anything. Do you think it actually helps, hinders?
They still do.
Got a view?
No, I don't.
It's a bit of a non-event, I think.
I think it encourages flooding. I think it actually helps.
Yeah.
You just seem, I know that you've got to play on, so we won't go and defend you there. We'll go and put numbers back. I'm glad they haven't brought it in the season proper.
Here's Murphy, got it from Grigg, stops, goes back to Simpson. So much of the football again. Australia's best player in the International Rules Series. Bauer gave it forward. Bentley taken by Armfield, and he goes in short and finds Cloak.
Have a look at this guy. It's space to set up forward. It was Armfield, I think it was. He was a mile on his own. No, Bentley. He was a mile on his own, but Cloak must think he's going to kick the ball about 60 metres. Yeah. The 9-point goal. He wants the 9-point goal.
He made his mind up, hasn't he?
He's kicked a couple.
Now he's looking for a pass.
He kicked 4 against Julie last year, didn't he? Late in the year. She's a good kick in terms of distance. And here's Garlett, and Garlett's done it. Gee, Garlett, that's good.
Yeah, he turned the ball on his boot exceptionally well, didn't he? Just got to the front of the pack, as he should be, a player. The small crumbing type forwards. He's certainly got the quickness, no doubt about that. So he's got an asset in his game that he can build his game on as he gets stronger. Probably needs to still be more precise, I guess, with certainly his kicking skills. But he was in the right spot. Poor defence. I mean, really, there shouldn't be an opposition forward standing on his own 5 metres from the pack.
So Cloak putting it in long and Garlett getting the crumb.
Nick Stevens had a bit of a crack at him as he was running off. Before Cloak came back with that, he wasn't happy with holding the ball in that position of the field, but don't like to see that. It probably wasn't. I don't reckon it was part of the game plan to go back from 60 and have a shot.
Yeah.
Wonder what Satanta's thinking. Looking on in the grandstand. I told you I was right. Blake's got the footy though, so Satanta's looking on in the grandstand. There goes the kick down towards the pocket. Big fellow at the back, Jacobs, nimble. Oh, see, when you're not nimble, you fool him. The hand pass comes out. Anthony's got it on the defensive 50 and drives it up towards the wing. Here's a chance for North End. Petrie, he's off, has the bounce. Short one comes into Wells. He's 60 metres out. Zeeble on the move, their most dangerous forward. Still going, Zeeble. The short one comes in and the mark is taken by Petrie inside the 50 now. Good to see a youngster get out there, and he's got the confidence to lead. He's running past the other forwards as if they were hitchhikers. So here's Petrie. There he is again. And he's telling Petrie to kick it over his head. Ignore the lead, he's saying.
It sounds silly, but that want of the footy, every time it's in your area, is a great thing.
He'll be captain next week. Ball comes in, and the strong mark is taken by Thornton.
But I mean, you joke about it, but some players don't act like they just desperately want the football to come to them. And he's done that tonight.
You could certainly say that both Robinson and Zeeble have certainly not been intimidated by the moment.
They want to be involved.
So some good signs at Petrie high.
And as you say, it's amazing at this level that you don't get that from everyone. But
well, I mean, everyone thinks they're trying. That's obvious. But that outward look of just being involved in the game at every facet.
So that was Cruz Garlett, the Garlett for the Kangas to Power, chopped off. Oh,
good contest.
He was good there, Joseph. He kept his eye on that footy all the way, and Ferrito able to bring Robinson to the ground. So that's a compliment in its own right. Ferrito on Robinson, and then Urquhart. Good switch up to Gibson, who had a tough old night early on Favola, and then he went down and kicked a goal himself. So the Kangaroos maybe with the last opportunity to get a goal on a bit of a forgettable night for them. Petrie getting some late touches, and then Gibson goes to Zeeble, can't quite get to him.
Thomas let his opponent bow, just come straight off in there, didn't contest in the air. Sometimes you just got to go.
So Simpson. Cloak hard contest. Back it comes to Harding, and a fumble from Rawlings, and that'll just about be it. Oh, good Carlton.
Yeah.
A whole lot to like about them. He'll be pleased, young Garlett, and be a lot of pleased Blues tonight, both on and off the field, I'd reckon. Judd set it up very early, didn't he? Really early, he and Favola.
He had 8 touches in the first quarter and very strong around the ball. And Carlton were just cleaner with their possessions, and they had more numbers around the ball. They used each other better. Just all round more polished than the Kangaroos were tonight.
So let's go down and sorry, Lee. Tim's with the kid that's made such an impression, Mitch Robinson.
You look like you enjoyed yourself out there tonight.
Oh mate, the crowd is unbelievable. You can hear all the selection going out there. It's everything we expect to be. No, but I loved it. Got knocked out a couple of times, but that was good.
Tell us about that first one.
All I want to do one courageous act tonight, and I ran up and I didn't protect my front. I just got winning so bad, so oh well, it was good.
Lost a little bit of blood out of the nose as well.
I think I lost a lot of blood, actually, about a kilo or something like that.
And the boys told me that you made a real impression when you got to Carlton too. They said that you're a little bit hyperactive, but you won them all over.
No, I got told to shut up a fair bit by Wiggo and a few other boys because I was talking too much, but no, I got the nickname Adzi by Feather means ADD, so I guess that, you know, sums up in a nutshell. But yeah, I love it.
And what about next week? You'll be looking forward to that already, wouldn't you?
Yeah, no, week by week at a time. trying to do the things I can do for the team, put my body on the line, and I played off tonight, so it's a good win.
What was it like to walk into a football club and see a bloke like Favola over there and Chris Judd over there?
He's a bit of a character, but he's a real good bloke, and Juddy just leads by example. Like, if I need anything, I go talk to him because you see him doing the extras. It's first to get the training and last to leave, so he's a best role model going around.
And your timing might be impeccable too. It looks like you're building something here.
Yeah, no, I was like cement a spot in the tee, but I was doing little things. We've got a bit of development going on, so that's good too.
Great stuff. We really enjoyed your performance tonight.
Thanks, boys.
Terrific. How much did you enjoy that, Lee?
You love to see the young guys who just love to play footy like he does.
What is it about the ginger guys? We had Michael Quinlan. Was it Quinlan?
Quinn, from
the Essendon guy last week. We've had two great post-match interviews, and they've both been
just fantastic. I mean, Carlton, as we know, won the competition a couple of years ago, beat the Lions in the final, but you think the way they played tonight, there's more substance to go further into the main season.
No doubt, and one of those blokes that will provide it, I reckon, is with Tim now, Bryce Gibbs.
Well, Bryce, that was a really solid performance for 4 quarters tonight.
Yeah, it was. We're just happy that the games are here now, and we just wanted to come out and, really show the AFL that we're here to stay, and we're just looking forward to it now.
That seems to be uppermost in the thoughts of the Carlton players, actually making an impression this year.
Yeah, definitely. We've worked a lot over the summer, defence first, and we really implemented a lot of stuff that we've been practising, and it really showed that we've been working hard on our tactics.
And you like going back across half-back? I mean, you're a terrific kick. That's where you feel most comfortable?
Yeah, wherever. I've been playing a lot all over the place, in my career so far, back, forward, through the midfield, so I'm just happy to be playing.
Thanks for your time.
Good on you, Joe. I reckon Clokey's been kissing and making up with a couple. Just with Nick Stevens there.
This is an emotional game. You're going to have fire-ups from time to time, and if you just look at that, well, then it's not a fair picture. With the second picture we just got then with the discussion, I mean, that's footy's all about. You move on and you get upwards and you get better.
And that unbridled joy for Robinson, I hope that it's never sanitised. That was just beautiful. So in the end, it was 123 to 70. The Blues were very, very good.